Most of you still think Shibai Otsutsuki is just a normal Otsutsuki. So let's uncover the myth. How strong is Shibai Otsutsuki? For Shibai, we need to backscale to the OG Otsutsukis introduced in the Naruto franchise. Prepare for the best explanation on this topic. Now, a lot of you guys will say, Kaguya is the strongest in the verse. She jumps Ishiki. No, not at all. Hokage Naruto and adult Sasuke are the literal strongest iterations of themselves. Their stats are maxed out. Okay, so if you guys get salty and say they haven't gotten any stronger since the war arc, I am ready to rock with it. While there are multiple instances which states otherwise, if you say they are weaker than their war arc selves, then you guys are all biased AF Shippuden tards who are still stuck on 2017. Jigen still bullied them. Understand this. Jigen is a guy who is an imperfect vessel of Ishiki and can't access the full power of Ishiki. He cream-rolled a stronger Naruto and Sasuke to oblivion. Now you guys are gonna say plot nerf, but no, there is nothing Naruto and Sasuke are gonna do if their enemy is a walking counter to 90% of their arsenal. But still they pushed Jigen to the limits, which is a feat on its own, made his body crack due to the immense power Jigen used to put down Naruto and Sasuke. Now you guys are gonna get the Kaguya's feat of catching Ishiki off guard and say Kaguya defeated him once and she can do it again. No, just no. You know what the meaning off guard means? If you guys are gonna get every off guard things to a feat, then why isn't three-eyed Jubi Madara Zetsu's hand level? Just cause he is Madara? Just cause he is more badass and has more Black Air Force energy? If Sakura hurt Kaguya in the final battle, then why isn't Kaguya just Sakura level? Why were Naruto and Sasuke having trouble defeating her? If Boruto's vanishing Rasengan could harm Momoshiki, then why wasn't Boruto Momoshiki level right off the bat? Being off guard means not concentrating on a thing, and catching off guard means taking advantage of their less concentration to harm them. Now I want to show you this. So yeah, Boruto anime and manga retconned the whole Kaguya backstory as its filler. It's easily retconnable. It does also mean Momoshiki, while talking about punishing Kaguya, was talking about this Kaguya, and not this one. And Momo was confident he can take Kaguya down. And Momo has eaten many chakra fruits over the years, which blatantly boosts stats of an Otsutsuki. Kaguya ate just one, and she rose to godhood level. Imagine the number of chakra fruits Momo ate. And Naruto and Sasuke still bullied him, and that too in his transformed state. And then comes the immeasurable speed argument, which is a bit iffy for Naruto and Sasuke, that Momoshiki actually stopped time and has the power to stop time like in the manga. But it's not new to Otsutsukis, as Ishiki stores his rods in his Daikokuten dimension, which has no time in it. Time just doesn't flow there. So we know the Boruto power scaling is getting broken and broken. Ishiki, while he himself being nerfed, took the beating of his lifetime, outlasted him like a champ, almost succeeded in his plan, just fell for a simple trick. It is stated multiple times that only Kawaki can bring out his true potential and not the inferior vessel Jigen who took on Baryon mode Naruto. Imagine him at full power. Maybe I should give Kaguya props for even catching a full-powered Ishiki off guard and hurting him into a near-death state. And many more instances in show which stated Kaguya has actually died because Rikudo Chibaku Tensei sucks out chakra until that individual's chakra goes down to 0. And according to in-law scaling, you know that Rinnegan is called the Samsara Eye. Samsara is the Hindu term for the endless cycle of life and death. Madara, Obito, Sasuke, Hagoromo, and even Kaguya were the seekers of Samsara who wanted to break this endless cycle of life and death. Now somehow the big bad of the series, Ishiki, happened to have a Dharma Chakra wheel eye. Dharma Chakra wheel symbolizes getting freed from the samsara, or transcending the endless cycle of life and death. And as told by Amado, if Ishiki got his hands on Kawaki, he would have been truly immortal and would have transcended the concepts of life and death. Now another notification that how he always has 8 Tomo patterns all round his body and cloak. The 6 paths resembled the 6 realms of Hindu mythology. The 8 paths resembles transcending the 6 paths and going on an endless journey to attain moksha. In this case, it's Otsutsuki God. So by default, he is above the 6 paths characters in Shippuden and in Boruto. Now, for all of you who still didn't get it and will say, well, everything is fine, but TSO GG, then first off, Ishiki can shrink it. On second thoughts, Ishiki will taijutsu the crap out of Kaguya as his travel, combat, and hack speed is just blatantly superior to Kaguya. Second win condition for Kaguya would be the all-killing ash bones, which she can't or maybe doesn't spam. But Ishiki sure as hell spams the shit out of his rods, so no. Now we have gauged the power of all the Otsutsukis and the previous MCs. Now we come to the Shibai scaling. Shibai is said to have transcended the very concept of death by repeated karmic resurrection, and has become a higher dimensional, truly immortal being, and has even eaten chakra fruit for over a millennia. Now we know that a single chakra fruit is able to literally give Kaguya godlike powers. Now imagine eating those same fruits for over a millennia. Now some people might say that he might even have been killed. Then no! He was not Momoshiki, who just so happens to have extensive knowledge over this. Otsutsuki confirms that he really has transcended into a higher dimension and doesn't even need a physical body now. And we know even before his transcendence he was more powerful than Ishiki, because a small amount of his DNA gave the cyborg siblings more power than Jigen, who bullied Naruto and Sasuke to the next week. So yes, even before he became a higher dimensional being, he was already more powerful than the big bad of the series, and he is actually the creator of chakra usage. It's not directly stated, but by the context, it seems true. He could swipe his hands to make storms, and his screams create thunder. He was not even an alien anymore. He was a literal force of nature. He is the creator of Shinjutsu, which doesn't need hand signs to make jutsu. Now, some people might say that Sasuke doesn't need hand signs to perform Chidori. Then, does it come under Shinjutsu? No, because Amado probably meant that Shibai's jutsus were passive by nature. Like he gave examples that Karma, Senringan, and Sukuna Hikona and Demon's techniques and dojutsu are Shinjutsu, and all of them, each and every one of them, are passive. No one needs to activate it, it's always active. Like how Demon was sleeping during the Code versus Karma v2 Kawaki fight, and Code took him through his claw marks in his sleeping state and repelled the blast from Kawaki. So yeah, we have got a four-dimensional being on the loose. Now even if someone says that he is featless and these are mere statements, then they are those guys who downplay Naruto characters who have the potential to beat their favorite MC. Or those guys who always whine that Naruto franchise is not about ninjas anymore, it's about aliens. Remember when kunai was a thing? Man, power scaling is a thing. You can't upscale characters in power without blatantly showing that on screen. And the Naruto series literally had a monster, potentially continental, multi-continental powered, nine-tailed fox, roaming around just like that, since the first episode of the series. And you guys say Naruto and Boruto power scaling is broken and the fights aren't strategic based and grounded anymore? Dude, get a life and accept what it is. Now to wrap things up, even if I downplay Shibai to his absolute lowest, I will keep him at galaxy level. Let's address some minor misconception. Shibai is featless. This isn't necessarily true. He already performed one major feat. He became an Otsutsuki god, or in other words, he accomplished the goal of the Otsutsukis. This is said to make you a peerless existence. The feat of achieving godhood automatically scales him above everyone in the Naruto-Boruto verse, meaning he would scale over any feat performed by any character in the series. Simply put, whatever you scale anyone in the verse, he scales to it. With that said, let's look at some info unique to him and what could it possibly mean for him. Higher dimensional being. Now, Shibai has some interesting statements to his name, most impressive being Amado's hypothesis that he ascended to a higher dimension where body isn't necessary anymore. I've seen people say this proves he's at least a Sao, as 4D and as high as 8D based on this. That sadly isn't true. Ascending to a higher dimension doesn't necessarily just mean higher special dimension. Dimension in fiction can refer to many things, some of the most popular ones being a subspace, such as Kaguya's dimensions, a different universe, often being either an alternate universe, such as in MCU, or a space where certain beings live, such as heaven level. In other words, simply a fancy way of saying a character is on a different level than those below him, such as with Aizen being stated to be in a higher dimension after surpassing all Shinigami and Hollowed, or Mori Jin being stated to be a higher dimension than others after becoming the supreme god in Ragnarok. Plane of existence, such as Limbo clones. Of course, Shibai being 4D isn't necessarily wrong since we really lack information on him, but there's not even close to enough information to claim he is yet. Now, Momoshiki confirms this theory, but at the same time seems to confirm Shibai, in fact, isn't a four-dimensional plus being who, as Amado guessed, is no longer in this dimension. This statement blatantly tells us they're in fact not referring to Shibai's special dimensions, but the place he resides in. A 4D being still has all three lower dimensions and only possess an extra dimension. We humans are 3D beings and still possess all three spatial dimensions of height, width, and depth. We still reside in the lower two dimensions while being three-dimensional. Shibai not being in their dimension most likely means he's in something comparable to the plane of existence where limbo resides in, or comparable to the afterlife, both of which are dimensions where non-physical beings reside in. This is also likely a reference to nirvana according to Buddhism. In Buddhism, nirvana is the release from all suffering of the physical world and the cycle of samsara. Similarly, karma itself is also likely a reference to Buddhism in where the cycle of samsara is the seemingly infinite cycle of birth and death. Shibai and the Otsutsuki clan constantly use karma to revive themselves after dying to feed on god trees. A cycle that Shibai broke by getting rid of his physical body. In other words, he broke the cycle of repeated birth and dying and was broke free of worldly suffering. What exactly does Momoshiki's statement mean? I believe Momoshiki's statement is most likely referring to his Shibai reaching a place similar to the afterlife, a place where he doesn't need a physical form, but with the difference that he's still alive and can likely interact with the physical world of living. As for what this means for his power, besides the obvious fact of him scaling above everyone else in the verse so far, for that we will have to see what the series explains this higher dimension to be. So far he's only above the rest of the verse.